What's going on, everybody? Blazing here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we are talking campaign farmers. This is a special that Plarium asked us to do to basically give an insight or some help to some of the newer players coming in. So here we go. I decided to pick campaign farmer because I think not having the proper campaign farmer from the beginning can actually hurt your account. So in this video, we're going to be discussing four things. Number one, how to pick a campaign farmer. Number two, give you a suggestion of some of the early game campaign farmers that you can use over into the mid game and late game. Number three, how to build the campaign farmer. And number four, where to actually farm in campaign, right? What are going to be some of the best stages? So I want to start off with how do we pick a campaign farmer? Now, for 99.9% of you out there, whoever your main starter champion is, whether it be Kale, Elhain, or Gaelic, or even Aethel, if you decide to go down that route, probably you're going to pick Kale. But with that, Kale is going to be a pretty solid champ to use as your campaign farmer, right? He has AoEs. He definitely helps out quite a bit and is useful later on, even if you need him in clan boss. Now, some of the things that you really want to look for in a campaign farmer and how to pick them is you're looking for champions that have AoEs, right? And so in this segment, we're going to combine basically the who to pick and what we're looking for in the same thing. So I'm ideally looking for champions that have AoE on every single skill. And a great example of that is Bellower, right? He has AoE on the A1, attacks all enemies. AoE on the A2, attacks all enemies. AoE on the A3, attacks all enemies. Now, he is a void rare, a little more challenging to get. Trust me, you will get multiple copies of him over your time playing, right? But if you don't have him, and let's say you do pick Kale, right? Now, the nice part about getting the starter champions here, like Kale, is he has AoE on the A1, right? And it gives him turn meter for each champion that is killed. He has an AoE on the A2, A3, sorry, even though it is random, right? And then the A1 gives you some poisons. So ideally, you want to go for him. I mean, even if you go with Elhain, I should probably see if I have any other rares, right? Even if you go with champions like Elhain, which it doesn't look like I have one here, she's still going to be a solid campaign farmer. Again, ideally, we're looking for champions that have multiple skills that hit AoE. That is the biggest thing to be able to clear the wave the fastest. Well, let's talk about how do you build your campaign farmer. So Plarium does a good job at giving you a pretty solid gear set at the beginning, which is Lifesteal, right? Allows you to heal up by 30% of the damage. So this is pretty crucial for your campaign farmer, especially early on, because you really need to be able to get that healing back, right? You're not going to have a solid reviver. You're not going to have a pretty good support. Ideally, you're looking for one champion that can blast through all the waves and sustain themselves. So making sure that they're in a lifesteal set early to mid game is pretty actually crucial. The next set that you can put them with is really depending on what you have. So on this account, I have mine built with a lifesteal and cruel. Cruel is what we get from Clan Boss. So it's pretty achievable, pretty obtainable, right? Most of this gear is actually gear that was given because of the certain events that Plarium does, whether they're giving out free champions or logins. So that's what is basically stuck on this. And as you can see, I'm using a 5-star rare here and a 5-star epic. Now, let's talk ideally about stat-wise of what we're looking for. So you could do one of two things. You could either try to go with twice as fast of the speed as the NPC and try to outdamage them that way, or you could build them slower and just go full on nuke, right? For every one turn they take, you take one, or you can go the 2-to-1 ratio. I ideally like to go the 2-to-1 ratio. So the way I have built my Bellower is giving him 207 speed. So I focused that I made sure that I had enough speed to be able to go twice as fast as the NPCs that we're going to be going up against. 100% crit rate is a must unless the champion's skills say otherwise, right? The champion's skills, like a Soulbound Warrior says, it's got crit on every single ability, 20%, 30%, or 40%, whatever it might be. Then you can build them with less crit rate. But ideally, you want to look for 100% crit rate. And then we have 167 crit damage. And then as for the attack, we've got 4.2k. Now, accuracy is a luxury for a campaign farmer. Ideally, you do not want to put any debuffs on. Now, on a build like this where you're trying to go twice as fast, any accuracy will help, right? Trying to make sure that if the NPC takes a turn, that whether it's a poison tick or a decreased defense for your next hit to go, does help. But ideally, you don't really want to push that. You really want to focus on putting enough speed, 100% crit rate, attack, and crit damage to a decent amount, right? If you're going to go for a blessing on him, now, sorry, I meant to say blessing, not relic. Granted, if you have a relic, anything that's going to boost their attack or their primary stat will be good. Now, as for blessings, ideally, Phantom Touch is going to be the #1 thing, right? You're gonna be able to deal extra damage for each hit that you land on the opponent. So you're not really gonna use anything else as a rare champion, right, to try to get more damage. Moving on to bookings, I mean, obviously, it's a rare champion. You're gonna get a lot through campaign as you go through, so you should be able to book up your rare champion pretty easily. I would always suggest booking your rare champion first, or your campaign farmer first, sorry, as opposed to anybody else, right? Don't spread your books out too thin. Focus on the campaign farmer. Make sure you get them to 6-star as quickly as possible. Now, Masteries, you could go a couple of different ways. If they're a defensive champion, obviously you want to go defense over support. But for the offense tree, you're pretty much going to go the same way. Now, the variety here, sorry, is going to be between War Master and Helm Smasher. Ideally, I like to go over Helm Smasher, right? So I take Helm Smasher, I take Kill Streak, I take Blood Shield, right? Blood Shield is actually kind of good for you as a campaign farmer. Places a shield buff on this champion for 1 turn. When this champion kills an enemy except the boss, the value of the shield is equal to 15% of this champion's max HP. Occurs once per turn. It does help. I know it doesn't seem a lot, but it does help, right? A big one here is Cycle of Violence. You do want to take Wrath of the Slain. A big thing here, especially if you can't hit that 200 marker, is taking Whirlwind of Death, because if you can manage to kill 1 or 2 of those champions, you're automatically getting that extra speed, right? So you can get a total of 18 extra speed if you kill at least 3 NPCs. So taking Whirlwind of Death is pretty crucial. Ruthless Ambush, going with Keen Strike, Heart of Glory, because ideally, if you're building him with Lifesteal, you're always going to be at 100% HP, so you can deal a little bit of extra damage. And then Deadly Precision, right? Crit rate, always making sure that we have 100% crit rate. Now, because I did go with my Bellower here, right? Bellower does require some accuracy because he has some debuffs. So I figured, why not? It makes it a little bit easier for us, right? So we took Pinpoint Accuracy, we took Charge Focus, we took Arcane Celerity, because at the campaign level of farming, you're not going to really need a lot of accuracy. If you have 100 accuracy on him, it's going to be perfect enough. And he is going to land a bunch of debuffs. So why not get that extra little bit of turn meter, right? We did take Lord of Steel. That makes a huge, huge difference. And then last but not least, again, one of the things that we can do to get our 2-to-1 speed ratio is take Spirit Haste, right? So for each dead ally, we're going to gain 8 speed, stacks up to 24. So between that one and Wrath of the Slain, we get a pretty significant speed boost. So let's talk about what stages you really want to farm. in campaign. Now, ideally, the biggest rule is try to farm the highest stage possible, right? Whether it's brutal, nightmare, easy, normal, right? You want to try to get to whatever stage you can, the highest. Now, once you clear up to brutal and you get, up to 12.6 and 12.3, ideally that's where you're looking to spend most of your time. So 12.6 is going to give you the best experience per energy ratio back. 12.3 is going to give you the best uh, energy per silver back. So you get a little bit of extra experience on 12.6 and a little bit of extra silver on 12.3 because of the shields when you sell them, right? So ideally, these are the two stages that you want to farm. Now, if you're only on hard and you can get it to this far, then farm that. If you're only on normal and you can get up to this far, farm that. Either one of those two stages, that's going to yield you your best. But if you're not at that stage, right? Let's say you're hard stuck at Palace of Arabia 12.3. Ideally, that's where you want to spend some time, right? This is where you're going to farm until you can get more champions up to the level that you need to progress. One key thing here that I would say is to get to that 200 speed, a big thing you can do is come here and farm boots, whether it's a 4-star or 5-star gray boot, right? An uncommon or common, it's still going to be pretty decent for you because boots, you're just looking for speed. So that is almost 40 speed off the bat that you can get on your champion that you won't really need to worry about trying to get to that 2-to-1 ratio. So we put the work in, we got our campaign farmer ready. What is it all for? What do we yield for our work? So as you can see here, we are going to run 12.6 and we can go 1, 2, and 3. And we got ourselves a 6-second campaign farmer for 12.6 of brutal, right? It definitely helps out. The faster you can clear it, the better it is. If this video helped you, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It helps out so much. Like the video so that case if someone new is coming into raid and needs to learn how to build a campaign farmer, they can look up on this. And if you got some time, join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. EST for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we dive into the world of Raid Shadow Legends, discussing everything from free-to-play strategies to pay-to-win insight, and covering the journey from early to mid-game. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player, we have something for everyone. Don't miss out on the Knights of Teleria podcast, the only podcast for Raid Shadow Legends. As always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys next time.